Welcome back. Now, last-minute troubleshooting efforts by the federal government of Nigeria to avert the two-day warning strike and national protest failed on Monday as the NLC insisted on going on with the strike. To discuss the issues with us today, NLC two-day warning strike and national protest is our in-house analyst, Sarah Orukpe. It's so nice to have you.
Thank you very much.
Welcome on Daybreak.
Yes.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So Sarah, we really want your take from the top about the NLC protests. Of course, we know that we'll follow the protests around the nation. What is your take on the protest so far since it started?
My take on the protest so far is protest is a must. As the citizens, your right to protest when you are not comfortable with any situation. Like I said last week when I was there, I was actually telling Ezekiel that I don't think this protest is going to hold, because I felt the NLC has been corrupt, and for like 2 years now they've been threatening to protest, to strike, but we never see them. So I never believed they were actually going to take the bold step to commence the protest. And like the NSC president said, this Joe, he said they had meeting and they were threatened not to start the protest, but they are out and they are protesting because it is their right to protest against hardship. And he said that they are not actually protesting for increasement of the minimum wage alone, they are protesting for a lack of food, which is inflation, the power, lack of electricity, the subsidy removal and everything, and which is the best for every citizen. Because I actually saw some video where in Lagos State policemen were actually sharing water to protesters and biscuits to support them, because this protest, you have to understand that this protest is actually for everyone.
Everyone
I might not
involved.
I might not be out protesting with them, but I support them because at the end of the day, it's going to benefit everyone. We can't just keep quiet and just sit in our house and just let government keep making decision or ruling why we are suffering, because in one way or the other, it's going to affect you. Whether you like it or not, whether you see anything, whether you are out protesting or you don't protest, it's going to affect us. And like I was saying last week, that last time that I knew that the little knowledge I have about the NLC was during Comrade Adams Oshomole, when he was the president. That ever since then, that all the presidents they've been having, I don't trust them, because they say, oh, there's a protest coming up, before you know, a night to the protest, everything is down. Because the last time we were supposed to experience was in November 15th, 2023, and the next day, the president and the neighbors, NSC president came outside and he said he was threatening not to protest, and he backed out. As an NSC president, you need to know that this will come. Is a normal thing, because you are fighting against the power. You're actually the voice of the citizen. You're actually giving us the boldness to come outside. Because the moment they started in Abuja, I actually saw Lagos were out. Kaduna came out, Kano came out, Bauchi were out, Imo they were out, Binitie City too, they were out. So it actually shows that, oh yeah, there's a force already that is out. So these citizens, they have more strength, because they know that their power, which is from the headquarters in Abuja, is already out. So it's a bold step and it's necessary. We can't just keep on. When you don't agree, you protest. And in every protest, it has to be peaceful. The peaceful part of it is very, very necessary, because when there's protest and there's chaos in the land, there's fighting, there's embezzlement.
The aim is defeated.
When it's being hijacked, that is the problem of a protest. And most of the time, when the protest is being hijacked, the main purpose is not granted at the end of the day, because we'll be thinking about the security part of it, no longer the links, the needs they presented. So far, it has been peaceful, and I'm really impressed with the president.
And I think this is one protest with lots of hashtags. You know, when you ask some person, they will tell you, I'm out to protest against hunger. Some will say insecurity, some will say bad governance. So it's more like we're all out for a different reason than purpose. Now, a situation where more like the entire system in the country is not working. Now you have citizens, you know, coming out to one speaking on insecurity, the other speaking of hunger and all that. Isn't this more like an example of a failed system already? And you know, even if the country or the government wants to really tackle the situation, where would they start from at this point? Are they to do with the hunger first, or the insecurity?
The first thing when I was going through the newspaper, I saw the NLC president talking about that he's not protesting against the minimum wage. He's protesting against the lack of food. The hunger, yeah, that's what he said.
Hunger in the land.
Yeah, hunger in the land. That's what he's protesting for. And I saw, I went to Ibadan. I saw the placard they were holding, and people were protesting against, like they were saying, they were protesting against the low minimum wage, that they need an increase. And then I saw people talking about electricity. What I'm going to say is that the government has failed. That's what I should use. They failed us in all sectors. Everybody have their own personal needs. Everybody have their own personal grievance they want to bring out and everything. But it's one step at a time. Why not first of all meet some need? When someone there's a saying that says an hungry man is an angry man. When there is no food in the land, because what the Labour president, what he actually stated was that the normal feeding for each citizen in Nigeria is supposed to be $2. So if you're in a family of 12 person, calculate it. Then calculate it to a month, and he said a month alone, as a citizen in Nigeria, is supposed to have 700,000 naira as your feeding money. Not talking about the transportation, not talking about the health sector. 700,000 as a citizen, converting $360 to naira. That's 700,000. Imagine a citizen alone for feeding, and our minimum wage is 30,000 naira. So that means as a citizen, a bread. Even if you're eating a bread every day, you're even the money is never enough. Are you getting what I'm saying? So even the bag of rice that you are buying is 70,000 naira, and your minimum wage is 30,000 naira. So when he's even talking about that, he's protesting against hunger, not about the minimum wage. I feel just being careful with his words, not going directly to it, because when there is money, there's no hunger. I get what I'm saying. When there's money, there's no hunger. So the first thing we should be talking about actually at this point is minimum wage, because 30,000 naira is actually a joke. Is a joke to a family man as a minimum wage, when you know that 30,000 naira as a citizen, if I go out as a girl, even fixing my head is not even, don't talk of eating or thinking about my health. When I'm sick right now, the money I will use to buy drugs. Imagine family of 6. I know in Nigeria they give birth very well. It's not like we are 2 in family. We need to accept this reality. So you saying that you are protesting against hunger and not against minimum wage, I feel that those two statements actually is contradicting each other. Okay, if you are going to provide food, okay, there is food in the land, there is tomatoes in the market. If the market woman wants to go to the farm to get tomatoes, he's still going to use foil to get it. And the cost of this going to the market with foil, the transportation subsidy has been removed. Transportation is very high. So you can't get the tomatoes. You need money to get the tomatoes. Even if tomatoes is available in the market and you don't have money, the hunger will still be there. You get what I'm saying? So the hunger will still be there. So the main focus should actually, first of all, there has to be increase in the minimum wage. And when I was talking about minimum wage as at last year, when I was there, I was saying that if there's an increase in minimum wage, in one way or the other, it's still going to affect the private sector, because we have to be very, very diplomatic about it, because some private sector are not even well stable enough to even provide the money. Because I heard there was a time they proposed 200,000 naira, and I said not all private sector, because there are some persons that's actually still earning less than that 30k in Nigeria, which is actually very wrong, but there are some persons still any lesser. So if you are talking about hunger and you're not talking about money, so when there is food, when there is rice, because in the market we have watched it over the year, when something is 100 naira today, you don't go back tomorrow and meet it 15 naira. It's already like that. Are you getting what I'm saying? It's already like that. So now what's the way forward? So what is your proposed money to the government? I get okay, you've been proposing in this time of the protest. These are the things you are supposed to lay your demands, because there are so many demands I'm hearing from different people. There are so many demands. So if these demands are not well constructed and we have to work towards this goal, the protest will just be in vain.
Now, talking about minimum wage, Sarah, you actually said that I think, if I'm wrong, please correct me, that some, did you say sector can afford 200,000? Can't afford 200,000. Yes. Now the truth is, this story, the back and forth about the minimum wage has been like forever. Yes. A child who is 6 years old has grown to meet the minimum wage saga in Nigeria. Are you saying, as a people, vis-a-vis the amount of money being earned by those in the corridors of powers, in quote, the National Assemblies and the rest of them. Are you telling me that Nigeria as a country cannot afford 200,000 as minimum wage, following the cost of living that we have, where some people earn hundreds of millions, or at the end of the year as salary and backlog and what have you? Are you saying 200,000 is too much for Nigerian citizens to earn? And is Nigeria not, are you saying Nigeria as a country cannot afford that if we are to follow the proper thing to do?
I'm not saying Nigerians is too broke. No,
the Nigerian government.
The Nigerian government. I'm not saying the Nigerian government. Of course, Nigerian government, if our senators can earn even way more than some developed countries of the world, yeah, their allowance, everything is that extravagant. There is money in the land. There's no doubt about that. I was actually talking about the private sector. That even with the 30,000 naira that we are earning, there are some private sectors that still pay below the 30,000 naira. There are some schools, some private schools, there are some person that earn 16,000 naira teaching. Are you getting what I'm saying? So that was why I said that even if we are going to bring this 200,000 naira now as the official minimum wage, that it's not everybody that will still earn, that will still get this 200,000 naira as the official minimum wage. That was still paid. I'm talking about the private
federal government now. You talked about the private sector.
Yes.
I'm talking about the Nigerian government.
Yes.
Because we have to start from somewhere.
Yes. So it is the duty of the Nigerian government to make it official, making sure that yes, this minimum wage is official. When it starts from them, for example, when it's being official from the federal government, for example, this private sector, they will eventually still implement it in one way or the other. They might not pay exactly, but there will be an increment in their own sector. That was what I was trying to say, that even if there's hunger in the night, if there's no money, that people can't still go to the market to buy food when food is available. So when the federal government increase their money, there's no way the private sector to won't increase their own minimum wage.
Is it impossible for the federal government to actually pay 200,000?
It's not impossible.
So why, in your own opinion, do you think that we've had this back and forth as a people? Why is it that the few that we elect into power give us so much huge elephant promises? We elect them to represent us. They actually get there and they just cannot deliver.
I think it's a thing of the mind, because when there is poverty in the land, the government can actually make decision on the poor minds. Because if you see during election, if a man is hungry and you offer this person 10,000 naira to buy his votes, he will eventually sell his votes. I get what I'm saying. Someone that have not eaten for like a week, and you give that 10,000 naira to that person, the person will sell his votes. So what I'm trying to say in this essence is that there is money. There's money to be paid already, because the last time the minimum wage actually changed was during the time of president and former president Buhari. So during this time till now, I was actually telling someone last week that the rate at which the increment inflation from November last year to February this year, if you see, it's even more than 50%.
Sarah, that is too far from yesterday to today.
Yes. So I'm talking about so
yesterday to today, even it's within today.
Yes. So I was saying that it's more than 50%, because I was actually checking. Like when it became reality to me was when I went to my area to buy a cup of beans, and this person said 200. I bought 2 cups and it was 400. Then last year I bought a rubber for 600. I was like, this is more than 50% of inflation. So it means that things are going higher, but money is still the same thing. Are you getting me? So even if that was the first statement I keep saying, that even if there is food, because I was trying to say that the Labour Party, yes, they are doing nice work, I support whatever they are doing, but they need to direct it to a right source, that even if there is food at the end of the day and there is no money, that there's still no food.
And I get to some point this conversation has become so heated already. So why not we go on a short break, and when we come back we'll continue with the discuss of the day. Please stay tuned.
Yes, there is news on your device. But hearing an analyst perspective is the icing on the cake that Daybreak Africa provides. Break. I mean, start your day with prompt analysis of the latest news, trends,
Exactly, and then you see these people, they are so agile, they can do a lot of
politics.
We have to go back to that regional system. That is the foundation of this country, for God's sake.
Entertainment, fashion, culinary skills,
So first I'm going to be pouring the oil inside the pot and I will...
religious and cultural events amongst others on Daybreak Africa.
For a rich mix of analysis on current issues, tune in daily from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on channel 480 and 124 on Startimes.
Back is still Daybreak Africa from our studio saying on the city, and of course we have Sarah Orukpe as we discuss the NLC warning strike and protest, national protest going around in Nigeria today. So Sarah, you were talking about minimum wage and all that. Now personally, I think if you tend to increase minimum wage at this point, it will by all means lead to inflation. And that is something we actually try to shy away from as much as possible, because we're already at the point where we can afford just additional inflation to what we are having already.
Yes.
Now, don't you think it's better, for the government to try to, probably subsidize certain basic needs, instead of really going into increment of the wage?
Okay. Ezekiel, this was the same thing you said last year. You said increasing the minimum wage was going to actually cause inflation. Ezekiel, this is 2024 right now, and the minimum wage is still 30,000 naira. Inflation has skyrocketed. So whether you are going to increase the minimum wage or you are not going to increase the minimum wage, inflation is inevitable. It's going to come. I was still here last week. We were talking about. I told you that even as at 1966, inflation. If you check, I was looking at the past newspaper. They were talking about inflation. Inflation comes every year. But when the speed of inflation is as high as this,
astronomical,
that means there is a problem. So you're talking about subsidy removal or subsidy other area, or looking into other area to make sure that things lessen. Doesn't stop minimum wage to be increased. Are you getting what I'm saying? Because even if you are going to increase the minimum wage, you are not going to increase the minimum. Inflation is inevitable. People in Canada, in Australia, people are protesting about inflation. Do you think the government did not provide basic amenity for them? They have good power, they have good job, they have good road, they have good healthcare setup, but here they still protest, because as you are growing, your needs as a human being keeps going up. That is inflation. You're not getting what I'm saying? Inflation, even if you are going to increase it, so remaining in that state of 30,000 naira and things keep increasing, what is the best option? That's to increase, because like I said earlier today, was that there is no way. You're a Nigerian citizen, you have been Nigerian in your life. Am I wrong? So has there ever been a time that you went to the market and something was high, then you go the next day and something is becoming low? Even if you are going to reduce the fuel, the price still stands. Because even the citizen itself, I was also talking about the same thing last week, that even some of our market women, I know that they themselves, I know that they use opportunity to make sure that they also extract money from the citizen, to make sure things become very hard for us, because there is no control for the price policy in this country. No price control. So even bag of rice can be 70,000 naira, yet the other place is 80,000. There's no price control. This custom, this thing that I saw, that the auction that I saw, that people were buying for 10,000 naira, going outside and be selling it for 30,000 naira to other people. Some were selling 50,000 naira. So there's no price control. Even if you are going to say that we are going to remain with that 30,000 naira, it doesn't mean that they are going to reduce their price. The fuel itself, even the government could not control the fuel. When you go to the fuel station, some of them, they are pumping this thing. They one way or the other, they manipulate it.
Manipulate the pump.
Even the 1 liter you buy before that is enough, or 2 liter, you want to still buy it even with the money. You are even without the this thinking about the price, you want to buy it. It's still not enough, because when you put it on, everything is still not the same way it was before. The quality has reduced, the quantity has reduced. So even we as citizens, we're also doing our part too. So even keep staying with that 30,000 naira as normal minimum wage is not going to solve any problem. It's not going to solve anything. It's still going to be like that. So the best thing is that to make the condition at least lessen. Okay, this subsidy we're talking about right now, electricity, and increasing it. It also made the citizens in one way or the other. Let me use this word. Let us breathe and relax. At least at to some point, because since May 29 that Tinubu came, it has been from one pillar, like we'll be running.
No, it's more like we tend to blame Tinubu and his administration for the misfortune Nigeria is facing as the country. But at some point, it's more like, it's been less than a year for his administration. Don't you think it's quite too soon to, put blame on him? And if at all, we are having misfortune and situation and challenges, don't you think it's probably a spin-off of what decisions that have been made by the previous administration? And at some point, as citizens, probably we have ourselves to blame. You just spoke of situation where citizens tend to exploit other citizens. Don't you think it's high time actually take responsibility for certain misfortune affecting us, and not just laying curses on the president and his administration?
The citizen, I already said that already. The part is the citizen play in this inflation, but apart from that, this president himself also have his own role to play. Removing subsidy at the very first day is actually a wrong move, because I felt that there was never a plan. Are you getting in every action or in every decision there is a consequence, and there needs to be backed up with plan. The bad side of it, the good side of it, we are not even seeing the good side of it. It's just the bad side we are saying. Okay, come and tell us, what is the benefit? Why are we suffering? Is there something? Is there reward at the end of the day for it? There's no reward for the suffering. So there was never a backed up plan for it. Okay, in case this is happening, this is what we should do. So that was the area where I have to blame the current president.
Now, Sarah, still talking about citizens' reaction or involvement in the whole situation. Remember that 65 civil society organizations pulled out of this protest, and ironically, the TUC also pulled out and, actually asked that the NLC quash the protest, because they say the protest will cause anarchy and so many other problems in the country. I really want your take on this, where you've told us that you agree. In fact, when Ezekiel asked me, I said it's the right thing to do. But a lot of people still feel, and I think Ezekiel is one of them, that there is no need for the protest. A situation where in a country where we all feel the pain, some agree to the protest and some don't, to the extent that over 65 civil society organizations will actually pull out, and the TUC will want to stand as a barrier. What's your take on this anomaly?
Just like the same way we are sitting here, and there is one man who pulled out of the protest. So that is what we are also experiencing at the higher power in Abuja. The TUC pulling out for the protest. Actually, their reason is actually not enough for them to pull out. I feel I sense corruption, or I sense some background things that we cannot even understand from the outside, because pulling out for that protest is actually not something, because TUC should even be the first at the front right now. They should even actually be at the forefront. The
forerunners.
Yeah, protesting against the trade and everything, but then pulling out, just like the same way Ezekiel is pulling out from the
I never pulled out. I only made a statement. It's more like.
Okay, don't worry.
All right. Okay. With that being said, now we're talking about politics in this situation. Now, for an administration that is less than a year, that's more like the basic for me. Less than a year already protesting against that administration. Now, don't you think there is some certain political touch around this situation?
Ezekiel, is there any political touch when your transportation increase?
How do you mean?
I mean, is there any political touch when your transportation increase?
Well, the president said we are on a baby step, so
No, let's talk about the political touch I was trying to talk about. Maybe you are trying to talk about the opposition party.
Yes, trying to influence one or two things.
Was it the opposition party that actually skyrocketed these prices in the market?
I guess that we did that ourselves, like you earlier said.
Calm down. Was it the opposition party that skyrocketed the price? No, answer me.
It depends on your point.
No, was it the opposition party that made
You made it known earlier. It's more like our decisions as citizens, to try to inflate our prices.
Was it
It's a two-way. It's a two-way coin. Yeah, you're trying to play a trick on set right now. It's a two-way coin. There's a responsibility by government and responsibility by individuals or citizens of the nation. But we're taking a look at responsibility by government, and it's just like the hunter becoming the hunted with Sarah now asking you the question, and maybe you should give an answer.
Yeah. was it the opposition party that removed the subsidy?
Who did? I wasn't sure.
I'm asking you the question. We are trying to answer.
It depends where you're coming from.
You already know the answer, and my viewers
is biased. Ezekiel is totally
and
biased.
My viewers are we can't keep blaming the opposition party. We've gone past that stage as a nation. You can't keep blaming them every time for the protest, for this. Citizens have the right. I'm not in any party. I have the right to protest because I'm tired of the situation of my country. So we can't keep blaming them. Oh, because people are out, the NLC is out, because the opposition party gave them money to protest. Can't protest? Are you not a citizen? When you are not cool with some decision, you protest. It's your right as long as it's peaceful. So you can't keep blaming them. If it's a jack, okay, I can actually reason with you or believe you at some point with good investigation that okay, it might be from the opposition party. But now that it's peaceful and people are coming out to air their opinions, I think we should.
Well, to set the record straight, I'm not against or for any form of protest. I'm only being an analyst.
All right, don't pull out.
Okay, Sarah, the situation in the country affects not just food prices in the country.
Of course,
every sphere is affected. Is it education? Is it health? Be it security? Of course, we have high cost of living. Do you know how expensive it is to get health care in the nation?
Yeah.
It is so much. Of course, we know and see the effect of insecurity. Most times as a nation who prays, we only pray to hear it and not see it. But whether we pray to hear or not see it, there are people who go through these harrowing experiences in the country. So generally, taking a look at the healthcare sector, the fact that drugs, not just food alone, as the prices of drugs have skyrocketed, and from the statistics that we got, Nigerians can no longer afford imported drugs. They make do with the little that they have. On the long run, how do you see Nigerians surviving situations like this if no solution comes after the protest?
It's actually very sad. Seriously, looking at the news every day, I'm always sad because I don't even like opening the news. There is one problem or the other, and the government are just relaxed about the whole situation. Talking about the medical part, we have one of the best doctors in the world. Nigeria has produced so many doctors in the UK, in the US, and Canada. They actually gone there and they've succeeded. So for them to be succeeding in those countries and they actually giving their best in their own profession, there it means that the citizens itself are not the cause of the whole problem. It's actually the government. Okay, as a citizen, we are not even okay. Let's even leave the medical part out of it first of all. Okay, let me drive in my own arguments. Okay, we're talking about the Labour Party. Labour Congress. They are actually protesting against inflation and there is no food, hunger. Okay, it's actually someone that have eaten that will think about drugs. You have to eat before you take drugs. That if there is no food. So no one is even thinking about the health sector. No one is even thinking about the health, because when you go to the hospital, you see so many people they are abandoned. They are sick. Some of them just died, and they just take them and put them in the mortuary, because even the doctors they won't render any help to you
without seeing money.
Without seeing money, because even some of the government-owned hospitals, they are actually generating money themselves to take care of the basic amenities in the hospital, because the government are not providing this equipment for them. Some of them that has been provided for them, they are not even using them, because some of these doctors they've left. Some of them, they're even out of doctor, but they've not employed people. Because I actually find out recently that there are some doctors that even ghost workers. They've left, but they're still receiving
their salary.
This system, they've not been actually be thoroughly investigated to see that, oh, is this person working? Is this person available? Most doctors have left already, but they're still receiving salary. So if the federal government on their own eyes that there's number of let's say 100 doctors in the Ondo, but at the end of the day there's actually 25 available, and these 25 they have workload even for like 200 doctors. So because of that, they can't actually attend to everybody. So they have to leave some parts out of it.
Fallen.
Yes, it has to affect. So if the actually appeal to the Minister of Health to actually look at this area, because it's actually going on for a very long time now. Because I don't know why some hospital, it's registered that there are certain number of doctors, but when you go there, there's no doctor. You stay there from morning to night, and there's no doctor to attend to.
I guess when it comes to Nigeria and it's a discussion, we always have plenty to talk about. At this point, our time has always been a constraint on this show. I understand, Sarah, and I really hope to have you next time while we talk. Should I say a season 2, a second episode of this particular segment? All right, but before we leave, I think we always give an opportunity to our guests and to speak to our audience. Speak to them.
Your final take.
All right, my final take is I appeal to the government to actually look into these protests, the demands to grant them, because when people are hungry, there is a chaos in the land. So we have to actually meet this demand of hunger first of all, and look into the minimum wage, and look into the health sector, because these are the basic needs that the citizen. We're not even asking for the whole big one, electricity. We just want to eat and have good health in our country. So I think they should look into this, because when these needs are not provided, there is going to be chaos in the land.
Thank you very much, Sarah.
Thank you for having me.
All right, that will be all for now, and viewers. And at this point, we have come to an end of Daybreak Africa for today. I really want to encourage us to be strong at this point. I know there's plenty to actually let's go and let in as citizens of this country, but I really want to appreciate so far the process has been peaceful. We haven't had situations of brutality or stealing or robbery of any sort. So I really want to appreciate Nigerians for the protest so far, and I really hope we go stronger. And of course, like the slogan for the petition is renewed hope. I really hope and pray our hope be renewed daily. Do have a wonderful day ahead. I remain Ezekiel Ogar.
I am Anire Binitie. Stay positive. Bye for now.